We're live.
The webinar. I'm excited.
All right.
We're going to discuss very interesting topics today, especially how people can benefit from hiring assistant, virtual assistant, and how the whole process work, if that makes sense. And then we will dive in into the whole process of hiring virtual assistant.
Perfect. Roman, why don't you tell people about yourself? My understanding, you're a real estate coach and you're working with Tom Ferry Organization, is that right? And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Pavel, yes. I work for Tom Ferry Organization, and I love being a coach, and I love helping people who's interested in taking their business to the next level. I know your business, and I know we've been in touch for many years. I think it's been for 7 years or so.
Something like that, yeah. We've known each other for a long time,
And I know you've been a part of Tom Ferry Organization as well.
At some point, yeah.
And you know exactly why it's important to treat your business as a business, right?
Exactly.
That's why I thought it's a good topic for my clients, your clients, and people who are watching our webinar. Why it's so important to delegate versus doing things on their own, right?
Exactly. And that's actually, frankly, Roman, when I was in coaching with Tom Ferry Organization, like for many years ago, one of the first things one of my coaches told me, listen, if you're a real estate agent and you're busy, you have to delegate some of the tasks. And if you don't like making phone calls, well, hire somebody who can, because there are two ways to do it. Either you can do it yourself or hire somebody to do it for you. There is no any way around it. That's it. And I think, and I know you've been doing phone calls yourself when you're selling real estate, and you also hired VAs before. So tell us, Roman, you're still selling real estate, my understanding, right?
Every once in a while. But what I love, what I just heard is, if you don't want to do certain tasks, you can just delegate it to someone who would. And I've been one of your clients for what, 3-5 years, whatever.
Something like that, yeah.
But I can tell from my own experience that we can delegate certain tasks to virtual assistant, and then we can definitely benefit from that standpoint. Yes, I've been working with you and with one of your assistants for a long time, and quite frankly, I achieved such a great result from that.
Yeah, well, and my understanding, because I know Roman, she was calling expires and for sale by owners for you and scheduling appointments for you to show up and actually speak with the prospect, right, to speak at an appointment. So one of the misconceptions that a lot of new agents have, they think that when they hire an ISA, inside sales agent, this person will basically be, not only scheduling the appointment, but pretty much like pre-closing the prospect, where the only thing they would have to do just show up and get the contract signed. So is this really the case, or you have to do much more than that? What's your take on this, Roman?
From a real estate coach standpoint, yes, you have to do much more than that. It's not plug and play. It's something that you have to really put some thoughts into it. But is this a tool? Yes, it is. Let's talk about the whole system. If you buy a wrench to fix your car, is this necessary? Yes, absolutely necessary. You cannot fix a car without the wrench. But is this absolute thing that you buy a wrench and you just fix your car with a wrench? No, it's not. So there is certain thought that goes beyond hiring a virtual assistant. But is this necessary? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, yes, it's necessary, because you take your time and you push it away from where you spending time on prospecting, on marketing and so forth, and you really set your goals. When you set your goals, you really focus on that. Does it make sense?
Oh, sure it does. Exactly. Yeah, you basically free up more of your time so you can spend it on income generating activity, on basically revenue growth, instead of doing tasks that cost like what, like $10, $11.
Here you go. That's what I want to hear, Pavel.
Yeah.
That's what I want to hear. Yeah, and when we talk to newer agents, and when they think, should I consider hiring outsourcing a virtual assistant? My question is not necessarily should I or shouldn't. Yes, the answer is I should, but at what point? We need to figure out the point when these people are ready for it, and when they're ready is now.
Exactly. And ready
Is
now.
now.
Right?
Is now.
Yeah.
Is now.
Yeah.
Because if they're not ready now, they're out of the business. Does it make sense?
Oh yeah, of course, of course. And Roman, one of the questions usually comes up, like, how should I train my VA to do phone calls or anything else? Do you have any tips for training on scripts, maybe, or certain follow-up practice tips and tricks? Anything you could advise people?
Of course. Great question. Love it. I wanna share this with you. I've been with VA, with your company, for years now, and it's a process. Don't take hiring a virtual assistant as just a magic pill. Not gonna happen that way. But if you put some thoughts into hiring, then we can delegate the certain tasks to someone who's really gonna help us out doing the tasks that we don't want.
Yeah, that's right.
And then from that point, we don't want to make calls. We have to. We need to know how to do that right, and we need to train our VAs, but we don't want to do that ourselves, because we want to set up appointments.
Correct. A lot of these,
and then
give me
set up appointments and then
yeah.
transfer them to sales. We don't want to make these calls.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. They don't want to make the calls, so that's fine. You don't want to make the calls. How do you train somebody? I mean, I mean, question is, does the agent have to do calls himself first before he can train somebody effectively? Or let's say the person that never done calls before is scared of doing calls, but hires a VA because the VA will be doing the work. So can this person effectively train somebody, or can this person rely on the VA or the VA company like Virtudesk to do the training at the same time, hoping to close deals? How is it going to work, in your opinion?
Pavel, let me be honest with you.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to close a deal,
EVA is going to.
There is no way a virtual assistant is going to close the deal for you. But if you have certain experience with sales and knowing how to properly close the deals, I don't want to mislead you with virtual assistants. It's a tool, like I told you about the range. If you don't know how to make that car repair, and at the end of the day,
the range is going to be useless.
You're not gonna fix the car. You have to know how to do the whole thing. But at the end of the day, what's important is it's a great tool. It's a great tool who's gonna help you build your business and take it to the next level. I can promise you that. I can promise you that.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. And a lot of agents, unfortunately, don't know how to do it. That's why they should come and speak with somebody like you, who's a real estate coach, and can direct them in the right, place how to get it done. Right. I mean, that's what you.
100%.
Yeah. So how do you see like the real estate agents should structure the business? What's a typical structure of a real estate business, in your opinion, as a real estate coach?
Well, quite frankly, nothing against you, but if you're at the very beginning of the process of building your business, I don't think hiring a virtual assistant is a good idea.
Okay.
But if you can afford virtual assistant, you should go for it, because it's taking time, effort, and in your emotional and in emotions from that particular task of setting up appointments, having set up the time for follow-up from yourself, and then you would just delegate that to someone who would do it for you. If you can afford it, then yes, of course, you should do it.
Well, I mean, what is a typical new agent? Let's say somebody's a new agent and wants to tap into the being a listing agent. What this person's daily routine should be, what this person should structure, how they should structure their business, so that actually it becomes more of a robust operation down the road. What do you see the first step an agent should do? I'm asking you as a real estate coach.
The first step is making your business plan. Number one, period. You have to understand how many calls you're supposed to make. If you can make that many calls that are gonna generate that much business, then you absolutely on your you're on track. If you have enough time for making what we call in our system hour of power, then
what is an hour of power?
Yeah.
Somebody doesn't know what an hour of power is. Why don't you educate what the hour of power is, Roman? What is it?
Hour of power is an hour or better 2 hours of prospecting. If you want to do your own prospecting, good. But if you can delegate that, then probably you should put it at time aside to one of your virtual assistants. Does it make sense?
Yes, it does. And let's say you are a new agent, you have a power hour scheduled for a certain time of the day. And do you break it down just only just prospecting and then follow up, or just follow up, mixing it up with just cold calling? How does it work? How did you do it, and how would you recommend it to your clients who are coaching clients to schedule your power hour? Is it during the morning hours?
Great question.
Yeah, just walk us through how you do it.
What I typically work through the hour of power with my clients, they need to understand that even if they hire your company, they're not releasing themselves from doing the hour of power. It's not an excursion. It's not like I pay you X amount of money and I'm not going to do it. They have to do it regardless, because we need to understand that we need to put work into it. And even if I say hire your company, we still have to understand that there is a lot above and beyond of just spending X amount of time for prospecting. because your company is awesome. I love it, but it's an add-on. It's an add-on. It's not a pay-per-click or plug-in solution. But is it necessary? Absolutely yes.
So Roman, but thank you very much. My understanding, let's say you're a new agent. What does your typical day should look like? You wake up early in the morning, you make prospecting calls. Who would you usually call? Do you call expireds in the morning, FISBOs? Do you break it down into the like follow-up days or specific days for or time for follow-up, or you reserve your afternoons for the appointments? How does a typical day look like for a new real estate agent?
Typical day looks like this. First, you have to think about your meds. In our Tom Ferry system, meds mean meditation, exercise, diet, and meditation, exercise, diet, and meds, and then sleep. Okay. It's important.
You gotta do that. That's right.
I didn't have enough sleep today. That's why I thought.
Yeah, you gotta do it. You gotta do it. Exactly. Yeah.
Sleep. Anyway, what I was gonna say is if we follow that 4 simple strategies, then we're gonna go into where we're gonna go into our day-to-day
day-to-day operations. So
operation. Yes. Yeah. That's exactly. What I was going to say. Yeah, Pavel.
Yeah, Roman. Thank you. Listen, I have a presentation to share. And while you want to hear, this is basically I wanted to show what we have right here. So, this is our presentation, and we also have a leverage community on Facebook. So those who are watching, you can join the leverage community on Facebook. I know, Roma, you're part of it, and you can just point your phone on this presentation, and we'll be more than happy and join our community right here, okay, on Facebook. So when we talk about the virtual assistants, the typical question usually comes up: what can they do? What are the usually tasks that they can do? So we're here to show you what a virtual assistant can do. And usually we go from, it can be social media posting, graphic design, cold calling, which we just discussed with Roman, follow-up calls, which I'm pressing him to discuss about the follow-up calls, appointment setter, that's pretty much the same person as doing cold calling and follow-up, TC, for those who have a lot of deals, they need a transaction coordinator, data entry, or usually, like recently, we see more and more demand for video editing. A lot of agents, especially because of the pandemic, started out with video, because video is it's a new way of communicating to your database. So video editing is very popular right now. So what a lot of agents do, they record video, send it to their VA, they edit the video, they post it to TikTok, Instagram, so Facebook, or any kind of social media out there. So video editing, don't disregard that. So tasks that you haven't been doing but are now possible is that's what VAs usually do a lot, and a lot of agents should probably focus on that. It's social media posting, lead mining, cold calling, CRM management, email marketing, blog writing, graphic design, video editing. Again, this just comes up as a new thing. Top tools for outsourcing and managing virtual staff. My team has put up the tools that we're using for that. For communication tools, it can be anything. Like, there are a lot of communication tools out there. Most of them are free. Skype, Zoom, Slack, Appearing. We're using also the ClickUp, because I know they mentioned the Trello, Asana, but the ClickUp is my team's using. A lot of free tools for file sharing as well. So all of that. as far as the VA services, again, we have plenty of VA services that can be covered under the services and description. Answer services could be for ISAs, all of that. See, if somebody can scaling up, they can actually build a team of virtual assistants and actually hire several VAs, make your general admin as the person who would be responsible for overseeing the operations, make this person an operations manager. And just to give you the idea about the cost comparison, let's say if you hire somebody in-house versus you hire Virtudesk VA admin, that's, you know, just a lot of savings right there. Okay. So
let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
While you're presenting, it makes so much sense to me. And what is the difference between hiring a virtual assistant overseas compared to hiring virtual assistants right here?
Yeah, well, the biggest one right here, you can hire somebody in-house versus you can hire somebody from Virtudesk. Okay.
Right.
The savings are in the pudding, as we used to say, you know. So the hourly rate, you know, you when you hire somebody in-house, you not only pay an hourly rate, but you also on the hook for other stuff as well, like fringe benefits, the overhead, the
health insurance,
payroll, the payroll tax. Yeah, the payroll tax. You have to pay, you know, medical benefits, because nobody's going to really work for you unless you provide that. You know, so the overhead rate you have to pay at least, because you are providing office space, you're providing equipment, you're providing supplies, unemployment insurance, workman's comp, admin cost, all of that. I mean, so you're typically, like, when you hire somebody for $20 an hour, that person would really cost you about $37 an hour if you come to think of it, because you have to provide all other hidden costs that you're not aware of. You know, you have to pay, if you're running your business as a business, you have all other hidden expenses that you have to, you know, consider when you're hiring somebody in-house. Hourly rate of $20 an hour, that's what your employee is getting, not what you're paying out. You're paying out way more than that. And a lot of newly found entrepreneurs, they are not aware of it, may not be aware of it. So that's what we're telling you guys. If you hire somebody in-house, whatever you're paying whatever your employee is getting is not what you're paying them. You're paying way more than that. Just keep that in mind.
I love it. Pavel, I'm a big fan of numbers, as you know, and I want to do a little bit of number breakdown. How much is your VA gonna charge my client, or a client who would come from me, and what would be the hourly rate?
Well, let's say somebody's you know, coming to Virtudesk. If it's going to be an admin, it's $9.10 an hour for an admin full time. Okay, it's right here. It's basically written out, and that's what they're going to pay. You know,
wonderful.
So you basically your client is saving roughly, you know, close to almost $60,000 a year compared to full-time employee in-house.
Wonderful.
Just keep that in mind. Yeah.
So let me think about numbers now. And a virtual assistant who's going to make 20 to 50 calls a day, they will typically set 3 to 5 appointments minimum, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Then 3 to 5 appointments gonna lead an average salesperson with 2 to 3 listing appointments. Does it make sense?
Well, they're gonna have a listing appointments, 2 to 3 listing appointments per day. That's what I used to have when I was selling real estate, and the conversion rate is going to depend on the agent himself. Whatever he can do.
Of course. We're talking about strong listing agents. So literally, if you spend $30 on a basic appointment, you're getting a listing from your company.
Okay.
So $30 a listing. What can get better? I mean, I don't care about where you're at, but $30 a listing, isn't that awesome?
That's a pretty good price for a listing, right? Yeah.
$30? Really?
Yeah.
I would go all in for $30 a listing, regardless. I mean, unless you're somewhere where the home sells for $20 or less. I know, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well,
but
it
even
doesn't
if you're
happen.
selling,
Yeah.
if your average sales price even 200,000, $30 a listing? Are you kidding me?
Well, this is a good ROI, obviously. However, you understand the leads, the appointment rate is going to be directly proportionate to the quality of the leads that virtual assistant is provided with.
Right.
Because as an agent, you're generating leads, either it's a Zillow leads or it's a for sale by owners, expired, circle prospecting has a little bit lower ROI, but it pretty much comes down to the type of leads, the time of the day they're calling, the type of dialer system they use, and how skillful they are on the phone to get you an appointment. Once they get you an appointment,
I'm not discussing the ability of the agent to close the deal, but the lead is what's important.
Exactly. So the numbers are right here. And again, guys, for those of you who are watching the webinar right now, or you're watching on YouTube, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We're also on TikTok. And if you need to get a hold of us, we have our website, myvirtudesk.com, or 800 number you can call, the one on the screen. And please, while you're watching it, I am inviting you guys to join the Leverage community, where a lot of people mastermind and talk about how they leverage technology and talent across the globe. So join Leverage. It's very simple. Just point your phone and join the Facebook community right here. So
and to all my clients, I feel like we're finishing up this session. I want you to think about joining Leverage community and get more information about how Pavel's company working and how they can deliver you the results that you want without being frustrated with all the prospecting. That's
my understanding, Roman, you've been in the business for a long time, and I know you sell a lot of homes, and you also available for a coaching session for somebody to schedule a coaching session call. If somebody wants to get a hold of you and speak with you, how do they get a hold of you to discuss if you can help them scale their business?
Well, I'm particularly working with Tom Ferry Organization. I'm exclusively working for this company. If you need my assistance, please contact tomferry.com, and I'll be more than happy. If you mention me, that will be fantastic. Then we can set up our onboarding call, and we'll see how we can benefit you with your company, Pavel, with Tom Ferry Organization, and it all gonna go together pretty well.
We're glad to be working with the Tom Ferry Organization, and Virtudesk is a proud sponsor of Tom Ferry Summit. We also, you can find our information on Tom Ferry portal. We are providing some educational videos there, and so we're part of the Tom Ferry ecosystem. So if you are looking to join a coaching company, Tom Ferry company is the way to go. Roman is one of the coaches who will be, if you're a newer agent, I think you're training in core, right? Core?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So if you're training core, if you are starting out as the coaching client, if you need to start out with a core, and Roman is one of the coaches there who's very good at what he's doing. So speak with Roman, or request to speak with Roman, and I'm sure they will put you in touch with him.
All right. It was a great webinar. I would definitely recommend Pavel's services in Virtudesk for all my clients, just simply because they provide me very high quality services, and I can talk from myself about these services.
Perfect. All right. So thank you very much, man. I will be speaking with you later on. So meanwhile, go to Leverage, and everybody, guys, have a good day.